Just a little update I wanted to let you guys know about, but look down there, look at my levels. Yeah, man, look at the pups going, chewing them up. So between 2 and 3 hours, say 2.5, I went up from 82 to 108, so this isn't even overnight. And these guys are just rocking, they're just rocking the prison ground here, man. They're just laying waste to these skellies here. As you can see though, I have attached 3 of these guys via leads to that fence post. Now, I spent, I think, about a half hour AFK here without the guys tied to a fence post. All they did was went over there and sat down and watched the skeletons go up. None of them were chewing on the skellies over here. So I attached them to leads, stuck them to the post, took off, and went and played some Overwatch. I'm pretty new to that game. Kira and I got matching Xboxes, and yeah, so we can play Overwatch together. As she reminds me, they're not matching. She got the white one and I got the black one. But yeah, it was the only way we could play games on the Xbox now together. They don't, all the good games don't offer split screen anymore. So let's look at what we pulled down. So I was right about here. We had about a row and a half. This is how many we picked, how many bones we picked up in just 2.5 hours. Skeleton, oh man, arrows. Jeez, tons of arrows. I don't even want to look at the armor. I don't even know. Oh man. Like, look at this. Look at this nonsense. I think I've already maxed out the storage. Alright, everybody. That's like a song from the show Lost. Alright, everybody. CryinMo can't sing, so he's not going to sing anymore. Yeah, so this is a weird opening here after we talked about some wolves and XP and stuff. Hello, sheep. Yeah, I did want to say one update to that opening there about the wolves and the XP. I AFK'd overnight for about 7 hours, and when I came back, 2 of the 3 wolves had disappeared. Basically, I think they died. So the wolves do, there is an attrition factor using wolves in your XP farm, I guess. I think the skeletons, once in a while, they can attack the wolves, and eventually the wolves take enough damage and they don't make it. It is going to be imperative for us to put a breeding area or something down there in the skeleton spawner. So we'll get to that at some other point in the future. Up here, I wanted to start and show you, of course, this is our area. This is our, where I kept saying I was going to do the storage system. And of course, we have our pathway here and we have our portal over there. And I've really been wrestling with where to put this storage system, how to put it. And the only thing I knew for sure, the only thing I know for sure is in my storage, the center of it, I want to be able to look out here. You know, we want to be able to see our Camelot courtyard out here. But anyway, I decided, ultimately, I cleared this out and we're going to put it here at this level. And I think I'm still going to carve out a chunk of this space here and maybe put something underneath, maybe a glass floor and a cactus farm underneath with some water running. We'll see. That's kind of what this step is here, as I was going to hollow this out. But basically, this is going to hold the storage sorting system right here. And that'll be fun to do. And we'll have a nice view here. And we can get rid of that. We'll put an elevator over here, stairs, whatever. Different things we can do with that. But that'll be coming very soon. But first, basically, we want to build that gold farm up in the nether, right? So, I'm going the wrong way. We want to build the gold farm up in the nether, and part of that gold farm requires a ton of glass to be the ceiling. But in order to cook up all that glass, we need an industrial furnace. I almost always exclusively built CodeCrafted's industrial furnace, which I'll put a link to, of course, in the description. And so for today's build, and in the spirit of the Let's Play here, CryinMo's Let's Play, for myself, I wanted to I just wanted to learn, like, how does it work? Because I would always build it, and I never knew or understood exactly what was going on or how it worked. So I took a little bit of time, went into a creative world, and I worked on his design. I built it out, and I just basically deconstructed it. Now I'll be able to explain what the redstone is doing and how it functions. Like, that'll be our chest to get things out of right here. And then, does this feel right? Come down the hallway and you can throw stuff in here. This is where our fuel is going to go, and this is where our cookable items will go, whatever you want to smelt. And this is where we'll pick up the stuff that comes back. So the reason these are trap chests is because when you put in fuel and when you put in items that you, especially when you put in items that you want to cook, you know, you want to stick them in there, but you don't want them to start draining out until you close the chest, and then they start draining into the hoppers. Just in case you put something in there that you're like, oh, I put this in there, and then I put these in there. Oh, I didn't want to put, I didn't want to put those lamps in there because those aren't consumable or smeltable. You want to be able to grab them out. And then, of course, since we're stacking these, then they all have to be trap chests. So, again, this is a variation on CodeCrafted's furnace array. So the front of it here looks different. And, of course, the one caveat, there's probably a bunch of caveats, but the one issue you have with putting chests like this here is that, of course, to fill these in and make this look like a wall here, you're going to have to use stairs here and here and on top of that one. Outward facing stairs, bottom up stairs, whatever you want to call them, so that you can still open the chest so that it's operational. This will fill in. This is a design that works where you can fill in the floor and everything. I do know that I will have, I probably have to hollow out some more area here because I know there's going to be droppers coming up right here. Let's lay those in there. So 1, 2, 3. This is where the droppers are going to go. Okay, so I have actually made a slight error here in setting this up. So, the arrangement, everything's correct. I just need to raise it up. I didn't really take into account the depth. So we're going to raise this up here, and we're going to put our chest here and there. And put the last guy right there. There we go. Our floor will be at this level here. And of course this will be, go down 2 rows here because our hoppers from our furnaces are going to go here. So now, when you look at CodeCrafted, his build in the video consists of 8 furnaces, and he does tell you and explain how you can extend it as long as you want, really, if you figure out how to do the wiring to extend it. So in this simplified version that I'm going to do, we can easily make this 15 furnaces because that's the length of a single redstone line, right? A redstone signal will run 15 blocks before you need to put in a repeater. And you could also double that up. You could then put in a repeater and then string it out. You could have as many furnaces going as you want. There we go, 15. And there we go. We're going to throw all 15 down. This is the hopper chain that will, of course, feed the smeltable items into the furnaces, right? So that's what the hoppers on the top will always do that. And now the hoppers on the back, these are I'm shift clicking into the furnaces because these hoppers are now facing in, and these are the hoppers that will carry the fuel. So the fuel for a furnace comes in from the back or the side. Both of these now need chains that will carry items across. This is the chain of hoppers, of course, that will take our items all the way across and drop them in to these. And of course, they got to be facing this direction. They got to be feeding into the hoppers down here. They can't be facing down because then the items would just drop in. They wouldn't function correctly. So same thing here. This is pretty intensive as far as resources go because you do need so many hoppers. You don't need to use as many if you only make this with 8 furnaces. Of course, I'm practically doubling all of the hoppers needed because I've got 15 furnaces. I just want to see how it works. We'll see. It hopefully should work okay. And of course, we have plenty of iron and all that stuff. And I know hoppers are known to be laggy and everything, but I think we don't have a lot of stuff built in this world at this point, so we should be okay. These guys run this way, drop down, and run along. This is our fuel, of course, and this is for our smeltable items. Boom, and they drop along there. Okay, so the concept of this thing is we want all of these furnaces to receive 1 item each before they start cooking. And the way to do that is we have to lock these hoppers here. To lock these hoppers, we need to run a redstone signal next to them. When we power this line, it will power all of those hoppers there, which will lock them, which means items that come into here will have to flow all the way down. They have nowhere else to go. Right now, we drop in an item here. It's going to go into that first hopper right there. Let's drop in 2 fish. There we go. There we go, 2 fish, right? So they literally just went straight down into the first hopper. Let's power it by putting a block there. I should have put a lever. So now these are powered. Now what happens if we drop an item in here? What's going to happen? It's going to go all the way to the end because all of these hoppers here are locked. So let's try that real quick and see how the trap chest holds that. Nothing drains out until you close it. Now I'll bet you that fish ends up right here. There it is. Took a minute to go all the way down, but it made it all the way down. Okay. So you see what's happening there, right? So, okay, boom, we have a redstone signal, locks these hoppers, which will allow items to flow all the way down here. So we need to know when this one gets an item in it, because once this one gets an item in it, then we want to take a signal out and say, oh, we'll unlock these hoppers, let the items drain in there. You can set this up here. We need a repeater here. Because if we had a redstone signal here, it wouldn't run to that last one because of our 15 run length of 15. This one doesn't get powered because that would be 16 right there. Also, this runs into we don't want a signal that back feeds into this comparator. That's not what we want. So we put a repeater in here, which solves all of our problems. Now we have a full 15 block signal plus nothing feeds back into that comparator. So now when this hopper receives an item, that will light up this comparator, which will of course turn off this torch, which will unlock all of our hoppers until there's no item in there. Then it will reset to this state. So let's try that out here with, put in 15 items and see what happens. So keep an eye on this. We're waiting for an item to hit this. Boom, it hit it, right? You saw it blink, so that means an item got in here. Now I want to show you where that item went. Of course, I lost that in here. All the items dropped from this chain, dropped down into here, and only one item. Because these hoppers are locked, and this is the part that I don't quite understand, but it seems like when a hopper is locked, it will only... I guess it like one item sits and waits to fall in there where the rest of them keep flowing because there's one item here. There's one item in each of these hoppers. So I guess what's happening is when a hopper is locked, items will flow across the top and one will stay in each hopper like this. So one stayed here, one stayed here, one stayed here, one stayed here. You know, as the stack kept going down, one stayed in each hopper waiting to go into a locked hopper. So there was 15 laid out, one in each hopper. And then when it hit the signal here, unlocked the hoppers, each one of these dropped into the hopper. So now we have an even amount, evenly arrayed across all the hoppers, which is exactly what we're looking for. So we can't see anything down there anyway, but this way we would still have relatively easy access to climb up. But if we need to come down here and look at things, we can certainly do that. All right, so we know how this concept works. We're going to do the same thing on the other side for our fuel hoppers. So in order for this bit of redstone and this bit of redstone and the redstone we're going to put on top of this for the next feature of this build, we have to do something a little slightly different here. Again, we need a signal to come out of, we need to detect when this hopper receives an item, and we need it to kick out a signal, but we can't do the same build. We can't put it right here because if we have a torch here and we just mirrored this, that would all be fine for here. We wouldn't have a problem with that. But later when we put this redstone above the top, that's going to do another function for us. That would start to mess with everything, and it would actually be activating both lines at once. And so we can't really have that. So all we do here is we just need to extend it by a block. And there we go. So what we'll do here is we will put in a repeater here. So we're just taking the signal out of here and extending it, and we're going to run it an extra block out so it's not touching this line or anywhere near this one here. And then another repeater here. And we put the repeater here instead of here because again, we need this signal, full length signal of 15. So we just put a piece of redstone dust here and it will function just correctly here. And again, these repeaters keep anything from going into our comparator. If you accidentally put something into this line that isn't burnable, and if you put something into this line that isn't cookable, and it gets lost in the system, like it goes down in there, you will have to manually go go in there and fish it out of there. Otherwise it will break the furnace. You know, if you end up throwing a bunch of, well, like stone blocks and they fall into here, they're going to stay there. They will never come out. You have to come down here and get them out yourself. So this is the problem. You got to imagine putting in a whole stack of coal. It doesn't matter, whatever you put in there, 2 stacks, 4 stacks, a whole chest. At some point, this is going to turn off when the last item falls out of this hopper. This turns off, which will lock one, you know, it locks all these with one last item inside of these hoppers, meaning they will that last row of items, which is 15 items, will never flow into the furnaces in here. They'll never get that last row of items until the next batch comes in, until you put another batch into those chests. Now that's not super critical for the fuel line, but it is pretty critical for items that you're cooking. That would mean each time you wanted to, you know, cook up a stack of items, if you wanted a full stack to come through here, you'd have to put a full stack plus 15, because the last 15 are going to get stuck in the hoppers feeding into these furnaces. They're going to get stuck in these hoppers here. They're going to be locked in here. When there's nothing left in here, they're going to get locked in here. And if you wanted to get a full stack back from the furnace, you'd have to put the full stack plus 15 extra items to run through the system. And that's just a pain, and we can actually we can fix that. The state of this furnace, when nothing's being used and there are no items left in those chests and nothing's happening, the state that it's in right now, which is on, I guess I would call this on, like this redstone signal is on, locking these hoppers. We want the rest state of this furnace to be in the off position. We want this redstone to be off. We only want it to turn on when it knows it has an item coming in. So when an item hits here, we want it to go, oh, turn on real quick. It'll go on and off when there are items here. But when it's not full of anything, we want it to be off so that those last 15 items will always fall through. These hoppers will not end up being locked as the last action that happens. Like when this chest opens up and we stick an item in here, we want the whole system to go, oh, you got items coming. Lock it up. Turn on. Everything turns on. So what that means is we need to take comparator signals out of these chests and run them down over here, and I'll show you how that's going to work. And we can actually put comparators right on top of hoppers, and that's very handy. Now, I was worried that taking a signal, when this lit up, I thought it was going to power this hopper, and it actually doesn't. I don't quite know why it doesn't, but it doesn't. So we can take a comparator signal out of there, and then we're going to use... Now, if I put a full block here and we run a redstone signal on top of it, that will lock this hopper. We don't want any of these hoppers to be locked at all. We don't want them to be interfered with at any time. And I thought maybe it would lock these hoppers up, but it doesn't do that either. So what we do is we bring a line of half slabs down here, and then at this point here, we're going to jog out one line, because again, like I was saying, we don't want to mess with any of this line and this redstone on this side. We don't want to interfere with this redstone line over here. And here we're going to put a full block, and we're going to put a torch, and we're going to put a piece of redstone here. So now you can see I have a lit torch. I put a dot of redstone dust on top of this block here, which turns off our lock. This is our locking torch, right? This is the torch that controls our locking hoppers. So right now, of course, they're all unlocked because of this torch here. So we're going to run redstone into here. And how many blocks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we need to... we have to put a repeater in this line here because it's not quite going to reach. So we'll just pop something out there and put another repeater in the middle, and that'll make everything work like that. When I put in the coal here, that's a lot of coal, that turned on. See that? There we go. This comparator is saying, oh, there's items in there. Run a signal. So it runs a signal down, which turns off our torch here, which allows our torch here to be on and locks everything. But this torch is still controlled by this comparator here. Every time 15 items comes down and hits this one, Boom, it runs the cycle, right? But now it's done. You can see everything turned off because there's no more items left. And that means if we had 61 items, I don't know how many went into each furnace, but let's see. 4, 4, 4, 4. So you see how everything is evenly distributed, and that's the way that that works. Yeah, so we just run it like so. And then this guy will plug into there. Yes, so same thing. Is this high enough? Yes, I made it high enough. There we go. And I think, of course, I'll have to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's enough. Far enough. Okay, so nothing now will conflict. Don't use slabs. You can use slabs here, but that's because they have the comparator and the repeater on. There's no way for a signal to interfere. The half slabs do let signal rise. So when this turned on, it would have rose up to these half slabs and powered that, and we just don't want that. It's all done back there. Everything is functional. We're going to test it out in a minute. But what we need to do last is hook up our little item elevator right here. And again, of course, that's our very typical thingamajig right there. Remember, our floor, right, is going to be right across here and sealed up. So we won't, I mean, I guess, you know, it is kind of a bummer that we will see this gap in here. There's not really anything we can do about that. And of course, then we can, you know, we can wall this all in. Of course, we'd have to put in stone stairs. Of course, you know, when you make a design, you can make it aesthetically whatever you want. Again, you do need stairs here, though, so that you can open these. Yeah, let's try our carpet out. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that almost, not quite. You can't quite get rid of it. I mean, it keeps it, you know, it would probably be that I would probably end up doing that just to keep that bit there from being seen. Yeah, that's a bummer. But CodeCrafted is much better, much more compact. He only has 2 droppers, and because his system is built up a little, it's just tighter and more compact, and he has to do a more technical build with the sticky pistons and more compact redstone, and you know, he's an expert at it. He's good at it, and I just wanted to deconstruct it and make it simple so we could learn together exactly what's happening with the redstone. You should build CodeCrafted's version. His is a better version, compact wise, but for simplicity's sake and for running 15 furnaces at once, this might be the way to go here. So we can grab that stuff because we're not going to need this anymore. 2 furnace smelter, that's done. That's old now, right? All right, let's load in our fuel. All right, that's going to start going. Let's watch for the flash. There we go. All right, it's dropping them in. And let's throw in some sand. Make sure I didn't get any sandstone in here on accident. And, oh. Let's watch this. Make sure this is turning off and on. Let's see. There it goes. All right, so it's all draining in there. And if things are correct, yes. What's going on here? Oh, that's what's going on here. Man, I think that messed it up a little bit. Okay, look at that. Look at this. All of them fired up and going. This is going to be some cooking speed now, huh? 15 furnaces arrayed, so they're going 15 at once. That's 15 times faster than a single furnace, of course, and 7.5 times faster than our double one over there. So look at that. We probably got some sand. Look at that. We got 33 things of glass already. Yeah, that's pretty rad, huh? Okay, well, I think it's all functioning. It looks great. So yeah, there you go. Industrial furnace. I like this idea of the brick floor next to the stove. I think that's kind of cool, right? Like next to an oven, you got this brick thing going on. I think this is what we'll leave it at for now. And yeah, it's very functional. It's very usable. All right, well, that's it then. I think we'll call that good to go. We'll call it done. And we're going to go and smelt up a whole ton of glass so that we can go upstairs in the nether and make at least the first part of our gold farm and get that going. Oh man, things are really starting to move now, aren't they? Yes, we are now getting some great stuff going in the world. Hope you all have a great day, a great week. And remember, let's all be zen, huh? CryinMo's out. Later.